Welcome to the Edge Unlock Summit. Today, we're diving into a powerful conversation with none other than Ashley Herrera, mortgage expert, lady boss home builder of Mighty Hope Properties, and TV host for The American Dream. Ashley is not only an expert in financing homes and investments, but she also understands the mindset and strategies necessary for exponential growth. This summit is all about stepping off the edge, embracing transformation, taking bold action, and leveling up in 2025. Ashley, welcome back to another summit. You always bring so much value, and I know today's conversation will help our audience break through their limits and step into their next level of success. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Deb. I'm super excited about this topic, so I'm ready to get started when you are.
Okay. Well, to start off, breaking comfort zones for growth. The theme of this summit is about being on the edge, either of breakthrough or playing it safe. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs who feel like they're just on the verge of growth, but hesitating to take the leap?
So I'm more of a risk taker. So those who are on the entrepreneurial side of taking more risk, you'll probably relate to me a little bit more than a non-risky entrepreneur. And the reason is because I've been an entrepreneur for most of my life. I had gotten started in college, went to a bank, and then completely went a whole different side of my master's degree. And I haven't stopped since. So, and the reason, I guess, it has a lot to do with freedom. So, that's one of the things that I think about whenever it comes to my risk taking and the next steps and really breaking through, those naysayers saying, no, you can't do that, or there's no way. And then having the positive attitude behind it to say, well, maybe I can. So, with that risk taking, one of the things that I always like to give advice to entrepreneurs is that really think about why you want to do something. Is this really something that you in your heart know that this is what you should be doing? I
Mhm.
know that even those who are not entrepreneurs who work a 9 to 5 right now and possibly getting to the point of feeling in their heart, this really isn't the place for me. There's more than me than this 9 to 5 job.
Mhm.
Sometimes we get there and we're not really sure, is this really it? But sometimes I always, even now, looking at different steps into my entrepreneurial career, being a loan officer, getting into the mortgage business, and then going into flipping homes, building homes, all of those are steps. And it all really involved a lot of action taking and believing that I could actually do something. So just really dig deep and ask yourself, is this something that is something I am passionate about and something that I will take and possibly lead you to something even greater?
I like that. Well, you mentioned the why. What is your why behind what you do?
My biggest one is freedom. There's so much freedom that you have as an entrepreneur once you get it figured out.
Mhm.
At first, it's not going to be, and it's because something new to you, and especially if you're going at it alone. And that's something that I learned at the very beginning, doing something alone without any mentors or coaches, it's harder. And then when you really understand that you can rely on other people who are doing what you might want to do or have completed what you want to do versus asking those friends or your even family members, parents, those who are close to you have no clue what it is that you're wanting to do or have even had any experience in it.
Mhm.
Um, Latching on to those types of people who have actually done it is going to make a huge difference. And once you get over that, and you get all your systems and processes in place, that freedom of time opens up. As a mother, I have 2 sons. They're at the point now where we do a lot of things. That's sports, that's school, that's activities, vacations. There's so many things that my husband and I want to give the experience for our children that we didn't have when we were growing up. So that freedom of time for our children as well as ourselves, that is just really driving for myself.
I like that. Well, Where do you think you get all your confidence from?
Oh,
Or how do
confidence
you
came
get your
with time.
confidence?
Confidence definitely came with time. I will say whenever I was younger, like in high school, elementary, junior high, high school, I had friends, but I didn't have the greatest of friends. They were your friends and they'd pick on you, they'd call you names. And, I don't know if everybody goes through this, but it seems like some people do. And that took a real confidence hit on me as a person. And it took a lot for me to realize that I'm more than what I was made fun of.
Mhm.
And that kind of leads to something that I'm doing now that we might talk about later. But recently, finishing up the New York Fashion Week, that was something that took a while for me to get to. I'm 35 years young now, but it's a much later life experience than I probably, if I had more confidence, much younger, I probably would have done it sooner. But I believe those things come at the right time. And again, confidence came with time and really, again, deep diving into myself and knowing that I'm more than what other people would say about me or call names or whatever the case is. And really, oh gosh, yeah, just
Yeah,
thinking about
well,
confidence,
now that
something hard.
I like that you brought that up about the fashion because I'm thinking that would have taken a lot of confidence. Did you,
Oh,
I mean, were you scared or?
oh yeah. Yeah. And I'll say most of everything that I've even started or gotten into, I was absolutely scared. There is not any piece of me that was like, oh, I 100% got this until, you go through the experience and then it's like you go through time and, with a mortgage business, that's when over time you're like, I'm at 100% confidence with that. I got that in the bag. Modeling, whoa, scary opportunity just came to me and I took it. And it's just one of those things where I go back to the risk part of me and it's like, might as well just do it. So I did it
Yeah.
and I've been continuing to do it ever since. And I've been doing photo shoots, stuff that I wouldn't have done before, and I'm loving it.
Well, do you think that when you have that confidence, it actually opens up opportunities?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So with the TV show and with modeling, both of those instances, I had it in my mind that's what I wanted to do. I had no clue how it was going to happen, but I knew it would happen at its right time. And whenever the TV show came about, it was literally at the end of the year, something that we have spoken about before. And showed up on Facebook, applied, and then next thing you know, I'm on TV. So it's just putting it out there like that's something that you want to do. The same thing with modeling. It was literally a Facebook post that I put out about my
Wow.
TV show. Yeah, I had mentioned, I when I was little, I wanted to be a model, but being on this TV show, it's like about the same thing and the experience is awesome. Just talking about the experience of the TV show and I was approached just from putting it out there and made it happen. It's just
That's awesome.
I would agree. Like you put out there what you want and you're gonna attract back, so long as you're positive and take the course when it actually comes knocking. Because there are people out there, they want something so bad it comes and then they get scared and don't do it.
Yeah, that's great advice. Well, as far as real estate and exponential wealth, many people see real estate as just buying property, but it's truly a wealth building vehicle. What are some outside of the box real estate strategies that entrepreneurs can use in 2025 to maximize profits and create multiple income streams?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that we're seeing, I'll start with the mortgage, is that first time home buyers, they're very limited right now. Their credit scores aren't great. They don't have a lot of good, strong employment history like they had before. There's a lot of variables that are really kicking out our first time home buyers. And of course, the affordability rate on what's on the market. So, with that in mind, whenever you're investing, you want to make sure that you're being able to provide a product, maybe even to those first time home buyers who can't traditionally qualify.
Mhm.
So one of the creative things that I like to tell people about is that you can offer a rent to own or an owner finance option, or you can even go to HUD and Section 8 for them to pay for your rent for an investment property that you purchase. Of course, you want to look at the data, make sure it makes sense, the area makes sense for you. And then also, of course, you becoming a landlord, because that's something else to consider. Are you going to take care of the payments? Are you going to hire a service to take care of the payments? You need to look at all the numbers to make sure it makes sense. I do believe, and the reason why I believe this is because I've seen not only the transition from like the mortgages as well as to what I'm seeing in terms of what is being sold and who's actually purchasing, and it's investors. Investors are purchasing the properties right now, and they're purchasing because they have 20% down, they have great credit scores, and they understand that no matter what, you always buy in the market if the deal makes sense. There's no stopping investors from purchasing homes so long as it makes sense. And even with the real estate activity that I have seen is that realtors are even in quite hard times right now with selling homes because the homes aren't selling in a lot of parts of the country. And what they're offering is owner financing. The sellers are offering this owner financing or sub two and or rent. So those three things are super, super important to open your mind to right now because it'll allow for a seller to sell. It'll allow for an investor to buy. It'll allow that investor to be able to offer the home other first-time home buyers who don't qualify traditionally.
Thank you. I like that. Well, talking about creative financing, traditional financing can feel like a roadblock for many aspiring homeowners and investors. What are some creative financing solutions? You talked about some, or unconventional ways to fund deals that most people overlook.
Yeah, so one of the biggest ones that I see that is overlooked is by investors themselves. Most of them are aware of your traditional products of conventional loans, where you put your regular 20% down and you qualify based off of your debt to income ratio. And debt to income ratio means how much money you make is that those mortgages that you're purchasing. There's a loan product called DSCR, it's service coverage ratio loan. You can purchase a home with 20% down, you have decent credit, and the loan is not based off of debt like your traditional mortgages. It's based off of the asset, and the asset being the home, your great credit, of course, and the new monthly mortgage, as well as what you're going to receive for rental. And as far as your rental, so long as that rental covers the new mortgage to be equal to or more, you're golden. So I see that a lot of investors miss this because they don't know about it. There's a lot of loan officers who offer programs, but they don't know about these programs either. There's loan officers who have no clue about these programs because they're not in the investment side of selling real estate. So this DSCR loan is very powerful, as well as for those who already have existing homes that need to pull out money from to be able to purchase another home. So it's a great strategy that investors can use. In addition to, there's no caps on how many homes that an investor can purchase.
So, do you think that people should, before they decide on a mortgage broker, that they should shop around and make sure that the mortgage broker maybe knows about some of
Oh
these
yeah.
different things? So that's probably a good thing for them to go out and do a little research before they actually decide on a mortgage broker.
I agree. I have many instances where I have previous clients who have reached out to me after the fact because their agent have loan officer that they have worked with most of the time in their area. They had to go out and find and venture out because they felt like there has to be more than what they're offering me. Traditional, when it comes to the debt to income ratio, not everybody can cover multiple their current income situation, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you write off as much as you can on that bond. So with those clients coming, it opened my eyes that there's loan officers who still don't even know about these products. They're not even offering, and they're not putting their client in the best situation because they don't have these products. So I agree that it's beneficial for the client to make sure that they work with a mortgage broker who understands the side and the traditional side of mortgages.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a great advice there. You've built a successful real estate business, but it's more than just wealth, it's impact. How can entrepreneurs shift from simply making money in real estate to creating a legacy that lasts?
So that's something that I had always thought about whenever I started in the mortgage business. How can I make an impact for these people that I'm working with? Initially, I had worked with first time home buyers for a really, really long time for the first part of my career. And I would see that, yes, they can get pre approved and they can go out shopping, but most of them are not able to purchase a home because the availability and the affordability factor, and availability of homes that are in their price range.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I finally got to the point of having enough funds to start investing, I really wanted to fill that gap. I still feel that there's not enough builders, there's not enough people who are paying attention to this. And I feel that I see it still. I still see that I can pre-approve clients. And matter of fact, I literally pre-approved somebody yesterday for an amount that I know they cannot find a house for
Mm-hmm.
because of where they're at. And they know it too. They even told me, like, I think that I'm going to be able to find a home at that price point. And I was like, honestly, I think you're correct. Maybe we can do these things, look out to see if we can qualify for more. However, it still struck a chord for me because that means there's not any inventory that this client purchased after all these years of them trying to purchase a home.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I like about our Mighty Hope Properties company is that we do focus on this. And we have a meaning and a mission behind who we cater to. When you, as an entrepreneur, can find a niche and find a problem and come up with a solution for that problem, that's whenever the legacy will begin. And not only that, people will see, and I'm sure that you can too, as a person. I mean, you can legitimately somebody's being honest, or if they're, trying to be spiteful or whatever the case is, or just coming after the money, because that's, in our industry, real estate, mortgage, investing. I mean, there's money involved and there are type of people. And whenever you are on the side of finding solutions, coming from your heart, it's your passion, the business comes.
Yeah.
It just comes to you like a magnet. So really
And
finding
it
a
shows.
way to,
It shows
yeah,
on you, when you're meeting people and stuff, they can see it on you that you're
yeah.
passionate about it and that you really care, and that it's not just about money. So yeah, it shows when you're passionate about something. But also when you're passionate about something, it also gets you through the difficult days, because they're not all going to be great days. But then it
Absolutely.
gets you to remember, okay, why am I doing this? And then it gets you through the tough days. So I like that. Well, with bringing, that 2025 is bringing a whole new, market trends, economic shifts. We never know what's going on with the interest rates. How can people future proof their investments and stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah. So one of the strategies, making sure that you have more than one exit. Most investors, they only look for one and nothing more than one. And that's super scary, especially when we don't know. Obviously, real estate is a risky business and it takes a lot of guts to be in the real estate industry, honestly, and as an investor. And what I would say is that make sure you have at least 2, 3 exits. So exits being, can I sell this property?
Mhm.
After I fix and flip it, am I going to sell it or am I going to rent? Another word for rent is hold. And then in addition to, for the renting strategies, Who am I going to rent it to? There's HUD and Section 8, as I mentioned before.
Mhm.
That's something you can lean on. There's city programs that help individuals pay for their rent in addition to Section 8 and HUD. So those are additional exit strategies for rentals that you can look at. Uh, are you going to hold it and then owner finance it to somebody else? The other strategies of purchasing. So if you purchase sub two, of course, the exit being, are you going to hold it or are you going to owner finance it out? There's so many ways to make money in investing into real estate. It's crazy, just even speaking out loud and saying how many exits I just said, that's a lot. But if you can't get more than one exit out of your deal, I would say it's not a deal. It's
Yeah.
probably not the deal you need to buy.
I like that because I've never really heard people talk about the exits. They're always talking about, you know, getting approved and I want to buy this and I want to buy that. And nobody ever really says, what's the exit plan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're not going to, no matter what, you're not going to have the house for house or investment property forever. So it's great to hear you say that because I think more people should think about the exit before they think about buying it. Before they go through and buying a property, they
Mm-hmm.
should totally be thinking about all the exit plans. And I like that. And that's refreshing to hear because so many people are like, well, let's just check your credit, how much money you got, but down payment, you buy it. Yeah, go ahead, buy it and then do it, but nobody ever discussed like, what's the exit plan?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would help so many people so that they aren't in a difficult situation a couple years down the road.
I agree. And I think why I highlight that is because that's from a mistake that I've experienced. Whenever we started building homes, all we thought about was selling at that time because we were first starting. We had to pay cash for everything because we didn't have the experience for lenders to give us money as new builders.
Mhm.
And whenever we came at the point where there's a halt in sales, it's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Like, we need to sell this house for us to move on to our next project. But
Mhm.
it was sitting. So, what do we do? And we just kept thinking and thinking and thinking. And then I was like, oh my gosh, we have all these other options. We should look at these other options now. And
Yeah,
now we look at those options no matter what, because we don't want to be in that situation again.
yeah. I like that. Look at your exits up front. I
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that. Well, when you're leveraging media and personal branding for influence, you've built a powerful presence on TV and in the industry, along with now fashion. How can real estate professionals and entrepreneurs use media, personal branding, and digital storytelling to establish authority and attract those opportunities?
Yeah, I really believe in branding 100%. And that started whenever I got out of being a processor in the mortgage business. I had no clue that you had to go out and find customers to be able to close loans as a loan officer. So I had to go to what I knew at that time, which was Facebook. That was the only social media place that I knew.
Yeah.
And when I got on there, I was like, how am I going to find people? I need to find people. And I just started putting out there that I can help answer questions. And then I would tell stories about a client. And of course, I wouldn't say the client's name because I don't ever do that, but a little story because most people relate to stories. Stories are true. And what we experience, there's other people that are probably going through the same thing or will go through the same thing if it comes to whatever they're purchasing or whatever they're deciding to look for in a service. So stories are amazing. That's something that you can relate to with your clients and customer base. The other thing was getting to the point of being on TV. Obviously, not everybody's going to be able to do that. However, again, that doesn't mean you can't do it. Social media is like internet. If you think about it, whenever you're on your phone, you're scrolling and then you like maybe somebody asks you a question and then you're like, oh, okay, who's Ashley Herrera? Well, you're probably going to go on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn to look up who I am, and not so much Google anymore. So whenever you're trying to see who somebody is, so having those social media platforms and leveraging them for your business as well as personal lives. I know that some people say, no, I can't put my personal life on there. However, how are people going to relate to you and know who you actually are if you don't put some mix of personal life in there?
Yeah.
That's how you get business. People like other people who are like them. And whenever you can be true and authentic, that's when, again, the business starts rolling in.
Well, we're in a new era of business and real estate, and with everything changing so fast and evolving, and I'm sure will continue to change fast throughout the next 5 years, 10 years. What mindset shifts and habits do you believe are essential for entrepreneurs to unlock their next level of success this year?
So one of the things that I will say, and I haven't changed it since I was a processor, you need to have a list. Whether that's you writing it out, putting it on your phone, writing it on your iPad, a list of things that you need to do either that day or the next day to remind yourself. We are in this day and time where we forget much more than we have before because we have a mind of a goldfish. We want to scroll, 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 scroll and see the next best thing. And then we forget about everything else. A list is going to keep you organized. It's going to remind you, oh, yeah, I got to do that today, or I should have done that today. And then you can go back to it. I have even had entrepreneurs come to me and um, not had any strategy on remembering how can I get more organized? Just offering that simple step of writing out a list of the things that you need to do has changed their lives tremendously. And it not only gets you organized, it allows you to be able to do what you say you're going to do, because that's something that if you tell somebody you're going to do something and then you don't do it, that's how you lose accountability from people and the ability to continue to gain business from them. So if that's something that you're not implementing and you're not organized, start with that and see how it goes for you. The other is also making sure that you make time for yourself and that you celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, I will say, even for myself, it is super hard for me to do that because I don't know, it just is.
Yeah.
It's just hard to make sure that I'm taken care of and that I celebrate my wins. And what it does, it really slows you down a little bit. It also allows for you to love yourself, and it allows you to be okay with where you are at the present moment and taking the time for yourself. And whether that's, just a couple of minutes sitting outside, reading a book, getting massages, going out with family or friends, aside from business, it's going to be much healthier for you to keep going as well. Because as you mentioned, Deb, whenever things are hard and all you think about is business, 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 you sometimes need to get away from that just for a little bit, and it'll get you back on to train. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that very much. Well, when we talk about action and we talk about action over perfection, taking the leap, many people overanalyze and wait for that perfect moment to invest, start a business, scale up, or try that new thing. How can they overcome this paralysis and start taking massive action today?
So I think that will loop back to our first question with making sure that this is something that you absolutely in your heart know with passion. This is something you're going. When you know that, there's no stopping you. So long as you can maintain a positive mind as well as a positive environment, as well as keeping positive people around you, because you don't want negative people around you because they will drag you down. With a combination of all of those things, and then just taking the action and actually putting one step in front of the other, or going back to the organization of the list, writing it down, checkbox, cross off, celebrating that win that you just completed to go after that goal of becoming who you want to be, you will obtain it.
Awesome. Well, Ashley, this has been an incredible conversation. You've shared powerful insights that will help our audience not just step to the edge of growth, but leap forward with confidence. For those watching, this is your time. You've been given the strategies, the mindset, and the blueprint to make 2025 your breakthrough year. But knowledge without action is just potential. Take what you've learned today and execute. Ashley, where can our audience connect with you and learn more about working with you?
You guys can reach me on my website. It's theashleyherrera.com. On that website, it has all the things Ashley, and any questions. Do not be afraid to reach out to me. I've had some people say that they were scared to reach out because I'm on TV or I do these things and I wouldn't have enough time. Believe me, I will make the time.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you again for joining us at the Edge Unlock Summit. And to our audience, now that you've heard these game-changing strategies, it's time to take action. Thank you so much, Ashley, for being here today.
Thank you so much, Deb.